You know, they talk about the tight budget, and certainly that's an issue. And we do need to connect the issues in this struggle to the larger issues about what's happening to the public sector in Illinois and in the United States, because it is certainly relevant. But even within the limits of what is available to the university system now, I think that there's a serious issue with misallocation of resources, and they want to spend it, the resources on, frankly, pretty wasteful things like this whole marketing plan that cost $1.5 million, for another new logo and all this other stuff. That was certainly a misallocation of limited resources. There's a lot of complaints about Saluki Way and where the money's going there. I think that needs to be re-examined and maybe try to do something about that. And we all know that there is other sources of administrative and bureaucratic waste within the system. So that needs to be looked at. But beyond that, we also need to look at our representatives in Springfield to talk about fixing our broken tax system in Illinois and doing other things to restore health to the public sector and public education.
The university and the union should enter into a fair contract soon. This is a distraction. This is a distraction from school, from the things that we're supposed to be doing. A couple of hundred people taking time out from their day to come here, where they could be doing other things. The university should settle the contract fairly and equitably, and that means that all the union groups, including the faculty association, should be meeting administration.
28 days we've been negotiating a contract. Let me tell you something. Those of you who know me, you've probably heard part of this already. Before we started negotiating this contract, we trained. We trained for weeks. Sat through meetings after meetings about interest-based bargaining. And long story short, interest-based bargaining is a way of bargaining where both sides approach a problem and try and solve it in a mutually beneficial way. And that's how we entered into this. Graduate assistants need health care, they need to cut costs, let's work on this together. Unfortunately, all we got was no. And it became obvious really early that what these people respect are two things. And it all boils down to these two things: power and fear. Here's how it boils down. It's really simple. Most times things are complicated. This is really easy. This administration respects power. And what that means is numbers. They have no interest in negotiating with a union that doesn't have popular support. They are interested in old school zero-sum game power, where they win and we lose. Louder! Louder! This is about as loud as I can get. So, they are interested in old school negotiation, where they win and we lose. That's what they're about. Make no mistake about that. And why? Because they're afraid. They're afraid. They fear us. They fear an organized workforce. Our chancellor claims to be a friend of organized labor. Yet the people who make the least on this campus are asked to sacrifice the most. That's right. When our president, or when our chancellor was asked if she was going to take the maximum number of furlough days, what did she say? She said, no, it won't make any difference. Yes. No, she's right. It won't make any difference to her. It makes a big difference to everyone else. Listen, for those of you, I'm going to wrap this up. For those of you who are on the fence, this is a really simple choice. Let me make it easy for you. You have two choices if you're undecided about where you fall on this issue. Your first choice is to do nothing. Keep your heads down, do your jobs, write your articles, and you'll be well on your way to being a tool for someone else. Or, and if you're old enough, you'll have completed your journey and you'll be somebody else's tool. But there's an alternative. You don't have to be afraid. They want to keep you afraid, because if you're afraid, you won't be organized. They want to keep you in a state of perpetual fear. They want to threaten your paycheck. They want to tell graduate assistants they want to threaten their tuition waivers. They'll do whatever it takes to get their way, and we're not going to stand for it. You have a choice. Keep your head down and be somebody else's tool, or you can join us, and instead of playing the part of an adult, you can be an adult. We spend more of our time here than we do with our families. And we want a measure of control over our workplace. Is that so threatening? No. Does that scare you? No. Well, it scares the hell out of them. That terrifies them because they'll lose control because they're about power. We're about power. We're about sharing power. We don't want it all for ourselves, but we want a measure of it. So, you can join us and stop living a life of fear. Stop being afraid. Take charge of your life. Join us. Because I guarantee you, I have no doubt in my mind that that is the last thing they want. The last thing they want is for you to be organized. They can't control you if you're organized, and that's what this is about, ladies and gentlemen. It's about control. All right, we've got a lot of work to do. It's we got nothing but work from here on out. The easy stuff's over. Now it's about money. I want to leave you with one thought. This is what our university's priorities are about. All right, I'm going to leave you with this thought, and this is what our university's priorities are about. Did you know that in fiscal year 2010, we paid $30,000 for veterinarian bills for 4 Saluki dogs that don't even belong to the university? $30,000 for veterinary bills for privately owned animals. Yet there's no money in the coffers. But of course, I'm not an accountant. They'll tell you, well, we can't move money from here to there. You know, I'm just not a sophisticated accountant. You tell me, if we can find $30,000 for vet bills, we can find $30,000 and maybe one less furlough day. All right. Thank you for coming out. God bless you. Drink lots of water and join us.